Well guys, another beautiful day here in southern Spain, and I'm out for an early morning ride on the DSX. We'll take a trip round the back of that mountain range in front of us there. That mountain range up in this part of Murcia is called the Sierra del Oro, the Sierra of Gold. And the reason it's called the Sierra del Oro, and first thing in the morning when the sun rises, it catches the rock formations which light up golden colour, so they look like gold, and hence its name, Sierra del Oro. A problem with a lot of these back roads around this part of Spain, they're very poorly paved, especially in this region where we live, in the Ricotti region of Murcia. I don't think there's a great deal of money to repair and maintain the roads, although they keep saying there's European funding. It never sort of materialises. Maybe going in someone's back pocket, I would imagine. But if you travel a bit further across to the east from this region, the next region you come to is the Albacete region, or Castilla-La Mancha, the Albacete province. And some of the riding up that part of the world is absolutely stunning. There's been a few pieces in ride magazines of different circuits up around that way to ride, and the roads and the scenery is absolutely stunning. If you troll back through my videos at some point, you'll see some videos of that part of Spain that I filmed on my old V-Strom. And as soon as the autumn comes, that'll be one place we'll be doing a tour of again. Going to pull up here, guys, because I've noticed that the top box is not latched down properly. My mistake. Put stuff in there and just threw it over and not closed it, so kick it into neutral, climb off the beast, make sure we get that shut. And away we go again. So this part of Spain that we actually live in is probably, I would think, about 60 miles from the coast inland. It takes us about an hour or so to get down to the coast, and very mountainous and changing in terrain up here, at an altitude of about 500 meters. But if you head further inland in Spain, in this area, you come to much higher mountains, over 1,000 meters. Not overly high, but certainly as big as Snowdon in the UK. And we're still in the middle of a 2-year drought in this region. It's still fairly dry at the moment, although the almonds and olives tend to survive okay. They're a pretty dry crop. Further down the valley, you've got the Valle de Ricotti, which is on a river basin that runs down the bottom of the valley, the Rio de Segura, and that's where all the oranges and lemons and peaches and apricots are grown. Plenty of water down that way to irrigate everything. Now, one of the amazing facts of Murcia, it's one of the driest regions in Spain. There's quite a bit of subterranean water, but not much rainfall. We get about 320 days of sunshine a year, and very, very little rain. We get rain in the autumn at the changeover seasons from the summer to the winter, and likewise from the winter when it's changing over to the spring we can get a rainy week, but that's about it really. But an interesting fact in this part of Spain, we never ever run out of water, and we never get into a situation where there's major hosepipe bans or tap bans or whatever to use water, or it's metered, because this part of Spain for some years now has been desalinating water. It's the best region out of all of Spain for desalinated water and recycled water. And although a lot of water down near the river towns is agricultural water, so it's used for water in the fields, etc., all the water that's treated and goes through the tap system and then goes back through the main sewage system, 90% of that is recycled and used for irrigation, etc. So there's a really good water management system here in Murcia, and where you get regions of Spain that are fairly wet, going up to Valencia and the other side where you've got the Rio Ebro and different river systems up there, because they seem to think they have sufficient water, they don't, like other countries like the UK if you like, they don't make provision, apart from having reservoirs obviously, they don't make provision for drought situations, where technically Murcia and Almeria are always in drought, so the provision's constantly made here to have a backup system for water, which is very, very interesting. So yeah, it depends on what sort of rains we get and what time of year, but as you go further this way and you get out onto the open plains, early on in the year, from February, they tend to plant cereal crops, and if we get the spring rains, them cereal crops come up fairly quickly and they're harvested still in the back end of spring before summer. And then obviously we get the dry, long, hot summer, which you can't grow much at all. So this year we've not had any cereal crops because we've got this continuous drought. I think some farmers did plant cereal crops, but they didn't materialise and come up. So yeah, it's quite arduous for this dry region where we are up in the mountains, as opposed to the river valley region. So this road is the back road behind the Sierra del Oro, and it goes to a town called Thieta, which is quite a big Moorish town with a castle on the hill. And we're heading that way towards the castle on the hill, which is a fantastic vantage point and lookout point. But one of the reasons I like this particular road, it's not overly smooth, the tarmac, there's lots of twisting bends on there, and you have to have a conscious eye out for sand on the bends. And although the DSX 900 is pretty well sure-footed on its Pirelli Scorpion tyres it's got on, these tyres are pretty road-based, they're not intermediate tyres by any means, so if you hit a patch of sand you do step out a bit on the back end until you regain grip. Get my tongue back in my head there. But yeah, I was saying this road is such a nice road, because as you're riding along here, apart from the odd ruin that you can see over on the right hand side there, it's stunning scenery. And I've shot a few review videos on this section of road in the past where I've parked up and talked about different bikes, and it's very, very peaceful places to just stop and chill out and contemplate life in general, I suppose. So yeah, these are the sort of areas to get away from it all and go on a mini adventure. The places I was talking about previously, Castilla-La Mancha, last year we went up there, me and my wife, pillion on the back, and we did a 2 or 3 day tour up there, doing a few circuits up there around the mountains, and stunning place to visit. Funny thing, a few years ago when I first started getting into Royal Enfield, we're talking back in 2016 when I bought the 500 Classic, I because we've got the other house, where you've seen where the bikes are parked, and it needs a bit of work. It still needs a bit of maintenance to get it back up and running. We used to rent it out as an Airbnb, but since COVID and my wife's illness, we haven't bothered as much, and it needs a bit of maintenance now. I'll have to pull my finger out and get sorted and stop procrastinating about doing it. But yeah, back in 2016, when everything was hunky-dory, life was good and no COVID, we had, well I should say, these thoughts of doing Royal Enfield tours around this part of Spain. And on the channel at that time there was some pretty good feedback. A lot of people were interested and wanted to do it, but of course the way things panned out with organising that and getting on to doing it, it never materialised. And I don't know if you guys know, I've mentioned it in a few other videos, I have a small construction company here, and I've done that for many years. I had a big construction company in the UK with quite a few guys working. Moved over Spain 18 years ago to sort of downshift and maybe do up a few smaller properties and flip them around and sell them to young Spanish. And of course, when we moved over in 2007 we had the financial crash, and property prices crashed and things weren't selling, so we rented that property out. I built a little place up on the hill, and then we rented the farmhouse out, hence having the idea to do these tours. Now, since COVID, we've not really rented the house out at all. I've had plenty of work, construction work, so I've been fairly busy. And I've been thinking lately, I'm getting a bit long in the tooth now to be grafting day in, day out. And I was just getting this bike out from down there below before, and I was thinking, we've got a 5-bedroom farmhouse there, 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It's in a beautiful location up in the mountains in Spain, and it's probably staring me in the face. If I don't want to work as hard on the construction work, I should pull my finger out and get on with this idea of doing a biker stop or a biker place and doing some guided tours either on people's bikes, or get a chain of bikes to do this. So yeah, just throw that out to you guys. I know a lot of you guys watch these videos, and I don't know what you think about that. Would you fancy coming over to this part of Spain and coming on some of these rides I go on and experiencing Spanish life, stopping off for breakfast, a bit of lunch, and exploring this region of Spain? I mean, if you're interested, anyone is interested in that, hit me up in the comments below, and you know, we'll sort something out. I mean, we could do a trial run. You could be the beta testers of this idea, if you like. To get to where we're based, if you come over on your own bikes and you come via Santander or Bilbao, you've got an 8-hour drive through Spain to get to us. We're in southern Spain, but we're on a lateral line across maybe 100 kilometers up from the Costa del Sol, so we're not near the Costa del Sol. You'd have to go a long way around to get to it, but on a line going across the map, we're fairly far south. The weather's very good all year round, good winter, spring riding. We've got local spa baths that are not far away. We've got river rafting down in the river valley below, and all sorts of all year round events. So guys, yeah, hit me up in the comments below if you're interested in anything like that, and we'll have a chat about it. It's something I'm seriously considering doing again. I'm not looking to make big money out of it, I'm just looking to make a living like everybody else. But yeah, it's a good idea. So I'll tootle along this road a bit more, and I've been along here a few times. A lot of my videos show these bends in this section of road, and at the end of the road I'll ride up to the castle, so show you some of the views up there, and we'll head back, and I'll get some breakfast with my wife later on. So I'll cut it off here at the moment, and then as we get a bit further on, I'll resume and give you some of the feedback about where I am and what the features of the landscape are, etc, etc. So with the top screen on here, it actually comes to the level of my chin, so even with the extender on, it just throws the wind over the top of the helmet. and I've got my visor up at the moment now with it on its lowest setting, which is probably how it would be without the extender on. I'm getting the blast in my face and my eyes, so yeah, I'll scoot up the mountain and I'll show you the views at the top from the castle. So I was saying yesterday I took the gel seats off the bike, off the front and the back, and took it out in 38 degrees after the earlier video I'd made about the seat getting red hot, and it totally cured the problem. Now I don't know what the problem is with them gel seats, because they're advertised on AliExpress as a cooling gel seat, but it had the total opposite effect. It just absorbed all the heat from the engine, retained it, and just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So not a good idea in the summer. Taking it off and there's just no heat whatsoever from the seat. A little lateral heat from the engine on the sides, but nothing more than any other bike. And at this sort of temperature we've got at the moment, which is 26, it's absolutely superb riding conditions. Guy there trying to cut across me there. So yeah, apart from the heating that I mentioned in the previous video and the clunky gearbox, this bike is an absolute dream to ride in these conditions. It handles superbly, especially on the bend and the twisties. I had a little dabble with the clutch yesterday, and I took up the free play. There's still about 3 or 4 mil in it that they recommend, and I played with the reach on the clutch lever to get a bit more bite on the clutch. Now that didn't seem to have any effect whatsoever. I let the clutch lever out as far as it could go. Okay, there was more pull on the cable because the clutch was further out, but all it did was made the clutch release a lot later, so you were releasing a lot later on the clutch going out. But it's quite strange, because these sort of temperatures it's pretty much okay. It seems a lot better. I'll have a toodle up here and have a look up near the castle. It only seems to be excessively hot temperatures where the gearbox tends to suffer a little bit and get a bit clunky. So a bit of a mirador up here, guys. You can see the castle the other side. Beautiful little meter here. It is Sunday, so we'll try and be quiet. People are going in there and worshipping. But yeah, guys, there's the castle at the top, and stunning views from up here. Absolutely amazing. Some crazy people from this part of the world tend to run up this mountain. They do these sort of challenges where they run up from the town below and run up to the top. Obviously not this time of year when we're getting 38-40 degrees, but the rest of the year. So these are some of the areas that you can explore around this part of Spain, and I used to really like exploring on the Little Himalayan, and I mean it was well suited for this terrain and this type of countryside. So if any of you guys have got a smaller bike, I mean, and you still fancy coming over, or you fancy hiring a bike, I know quite a few garages that would hire bikes out. We could do a couple of day tours, and you can try the local food and gastronomy and enjoy and get some winter sun, spring sun. Like I said earlier, we get 320 days of sunshine here, guys. So yeah, pretty good. So that was the castle in Theatha. We've probably come about 25 kilometres, I would think. And a typical day's riding up this place, especially if you did a bit of off-roading, did some of the forestry fire trails, depending on your level of proficiency, you know, they're not too bad. They're just fire trails that are light shell, most of them, but they're probably a lot easier to ride on a smaller bike that's easy to handle. A big heavy bike, if the back end steps out, you get into trouble quite easy. But those of you who are used to riding your bikes off-road, there's some beautiful places to visit. Further inland there's a place called Calaspara, which produces a lot of the paella rice for Spain. It's quite famous. You can buy it all around the world. Chefs use it everywhere. But Calaspara rice, if you want to Google that and look that up. So yeah, it's a bit of an overlooked part of Spain. It's quite surprising. When we first bought here, and we were saying to people we'd bought in Murcia, an autonomous region in Spain, in southern Spain, they were saying Murcia, we haven't heard of Murcia. And then of course you say the La Manga strip, where all the international footballers train. There's a big spa hotel and training ground there. They all train down there. They know La Manga and a few parts along the coast, but more people are more well aware of Alicante and Benidorm, which is further north, a couple of hours up the coast. And a few people know about Almeria going the other way, and a few of the places down there. You get down to Almeria, you've got the only desert in Spain, Tabernas, where all the spaghetti westerns are filmed. So another interesting place to visit. Very, very hot, very dry, very arid. And Murcia, this part of Spain, they call the California of Europe, because our climate, the landscape, the rock formations are very similar to California. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this ride out with me and the information. I hope you'll give me some feedback about if you'd like to join me and experience some of this part of Spain, some of the riding around here. It's absolutely stunning. There are some rough roads, but within 20-30 minutes either way you can get to some stunning country twisty roads up towards Riopar and Letur and Ainas. So yeah guys, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to get back on the main road, leave it here, toodle back, get some breakfast with my wife, and ride safe guys. I'll catch you in the next one.